When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now.
This is the time to work on you and your business.
So I've created a group,
An online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you
to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen.
see you in Power Partners.
I don't know this song.
My body becomes like a cement. Oh my God.
That was the better one. The song
Okay. Oh my God. It's like magic. Literally like magic.
And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big. And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today.
My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Woosha, woosha. I've been doing that all morning.
Yes. I mean, we love technology when it works and we love technology when it doesn't.
Okay, so I'm going to tell on myself now because I know you always do it. I have to do it this morning.
All right.
And
then we'll bring Shelly up because she was part of this too. This has been such a fun morning between Shelly and I and trying to get in touch with you. I think we should just bring her up.
Okay, so let me do me first. I'm being selfish right now. I'm being selfish, and I usually don't do that much. So get up. All my electricity is off. It's 6 o'clock this morning, so I was like, okay, I got to get to Barbara, but how do I get to Barbara? And I don't have electricity. So my phone, electricity, internet's gone, all that, everything. So when I was trying to call you, for some reason, I couldn't get in connection on the phone. So I said, okay, woosha, woosha. Oh, yeah. And I just sat on my couch and I was like, it's going to be okay. I need to figure out a way to get to Barbara. That's the only thing I was thinking to myself. So by the time I was going to jump in my car and go to the closest place where they got internet in a store so I could email you, because I was thinking, I said, okay, I got to get out of this house because this is not helping me.
Right.
So by the time I was leaving out, and my neighbor's like, "Ooh, the electricity's back on." I'm like, oh,
thank the Lord.
So I'm running back out the car, running back in the house. So I finally said, good, we're good, right? So I gave me like a 30-minute break. So then when I get online to start, getting ready for the show, all of a sudden StreamYard's like, oh, we have an outage in the system. Oh, we might not be back for an hour or an hour and a half. I'm like, what? I said, that's where the show's at. I said, we can't do that. So I said, okay, what can I do? I said, we can get on Zoom, but that can't go. I can do it live on Zoom. So I'm just thinking, right? So I got everything set up. I was about to send you and Shelly and say, okay, we're going to do Zoom, and I'll figure out a way to put us live somewhere because you could do that. Soon as that happens, it's like, oh, we're back. So then I said, oh, good. See, I only came on time.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I'm looking up the links. All the links are messed up. So the link I sent you and Shelly was gone.
Yep.
I had to recreate the show again because I had to get a new link. and then by the time I sent you the link, my light that I usually have up here, the bulb went out. I was like, what? I said, I'm not even going to ask what else could happen because something might just happen. So I'm like, I said, we're good. So I was just thinking to myself, I said, Barbara and Shelly probably think I am just the most unorganized person in the world.
What the funny part is that like Shelly and I were on the new video thing, the wave.video.
Oh, because I didn't even send you a link for that.
Yeah, that's the link we got.
Oh my God. So you didn't even understand about the craziness I was dealing with.
So I didn't. So the funny part is, so bring Shelly up because this was hysterical.
Oh my God.
She was part of this.
let me change. Let's see, I gotta change.
This will just be the tech issue show.
Oh my God.
Because and how to deal with it, and you'll notice we're laughing.
Yeah.
Good morning. So, Barbara, I have some good news for you. It is all uphill from here. Your day cannot get any worse. It can only get better.
Thank you. I need that. I was like, I said, please. And then you got a different link. Okay, you tell me.
We had a link to another platform, and I could see Barbara but not hear her. She could hear me but not see me, and so lips are moving.
We were phoning, so we were phoning each other and wondering, "Oh, brother, has something happened to Barb?"
Is Barbara okay? We've got to find a way to communicate with Barbara while you're dealing with your tech issues, because we're in another place. Just going, when's the show supposed to start?
So let me ask a question. Now, okay, like you said, this is techie day, or seem like
this is going to be a techie day.
When you came, because you felt this is kind of helpful now. See, this is going from whatever to helpful. So when you went into the new link, the wave, which we have to move forward to, right. That's why it's kind of interesting how you got the link. When you came in, were you already on the screen, or were you?
No, we were backstage.
We were backstage.
You could see each other backstage.
I could see her, and I could hear her.
So you could only hear each other. You couldn't see each other.
No, we couldn't. No, I could see. I could hear Shelly, but not see her. She could see me and not hear me.
Correct.
So
wow. Okay, that's something that's good to know, because I'm confused how that works.
And then so I know. Luckily, I noticed that at like 8:30 to set up for the show. I noticed that it was a different. They're using the new thing. I said, I better go on early. Well, guess what? They don't. They can only go on Chrome. That platform will only work on Chrome, I guess. So I went onto my Chrome. My Chrome crashed. It crashed my Chrome. So then, when we finally got with you. And then Shelly said, well, and you sent me the message that I'll send Messenger. I said, I don't have Messenger. Everything has crashed. Now what? Shelly says, well, I'll send you a link. So it's been one of those mornings.
So you don't have Messenger anymore, Barbara?
So right at this moment, I have no Messenger. My Chrome crashed.
Oh my! So this is great.
And then plus the new thing had no virtual backgrounds.
Yeah, it doesn't have virtual background.
It doesn't have virtual background. So this is why I'm literally have my camera on a box.
Well, thank you for, I want to say it like this. Thank you to Wonderful Queens for testing out the new system. You were my pilot. Oh, I appreciate you so much. I can give you virtual hugs right now. Okay. Now that
but you know what the thing is, and I think that is the lesson for today. Shelly and I were just, it'll all work out. All three of us said the same thing. Well, it'll all work out. And and here we are.
I said, I wasn't giving up. I mean, I went too much crazy stuff this morning to give up. I said, no.
Right.
Show's going to happen.
Right. But we all feel the same way. And one of the things that I was going to talk about today is just so often we get so caught up in everything being perfect that we give up on things. How easily would it have been for you to just say, hey, you know what? And put up a message and say, can't do it.
Yeah.
And so often people do that because, like we don't expect babies to be perfect. We expect babies to suck at stuff. And then hopefully we are the kind of parents that encourages them. Oh, let's see you what? Well, let's see you do this and support them. And yet as soon as we become adults, we forget that.
All the time. It seems like
and the thing is so often that we, instead of getting a hobby, we get a side hustle. And I mean, I've done that. And I don't know if you and I talked about it the other day, but our social media, we use somebody else's social media highlight reels to compare to our daily life. So
our bloopers, our blooper reel.
Our blooper reel.
We live our blooper reel, but we're not putting that out there for everybody to see. We're putting I was just in Las Vegas. I had a great time, but you don't see any, there actually wasn't anything negative, I guess, but if there were, I wouldn't have posted it. Right? I'm not going to put that out there.
Yeah.
I will talk about the struggle, but I got to get through it first and get my head screwed on straight. So I'm not just a whiny mess in front of people spreading negative. I want to get to the point where I can see something good came of this.
Yeah.
But if we can get to the point where we see something good is going to come of this during it, we don't have to wait.
Right.
And then just enjoy it as best we can. And I think our only issue is we were concerned for you, hoping nothing had happened to you.
Well, see
and the ability to communicate, that was but how cool, it's just a tech issue.
And a light issue, and a issue, and electricity and power. I was like, oh my God, this is racking up. But thank you so much for, see, this is where I say the support from the queens coming at. And like you said, out of everything, Shelly, and I really appreciate you saying that, you were thinking about, okay, now where is Barbara? I mean, okay, we have a show and stuff, but is she okay? And a lot of people nowadays, I hate to say it, sometimes people go the opposite, be like, oh, they messed up, what's going on? And they don't even think about, well, maybe this person is sick or anything,
passed out somewhere,
passed out.
Right.
I mean, that's what I think of first, especially when it's not the norm for somebody. You kind of say to yourself, okay, is something really going on? I hope they're okay. Instead of saying, darn, they messed up. I mean, it's okay, it might not be a mess up. There might be something else going on there. So that's good leading into that. Don't assume, how assume, the word assume means, that it might be something that they just totally screwed up or whatever you want to say. Maybe there's something really going on, and take a breather and, think things through on that. So it's a lesson for,
lesson for all of us. And plus, too, on the other side of that, if somebody has screwed up, if this, if this was just a legitimate, just totally screw up on Barb's part, so what?
Well,
it happens.
It's about what
all of us.
It's about what story we tell.
Exactly, and how we respond to the story.
Right. So if you tell the story, oh, Barbara, she's so irresponsible, she just screwed up, blah 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 blah, that creates a lot of animosity towards Barbara, but if you tell the story, I hope she's okay, then you're coming from a place of concern. And I think going forward, I'm going to picture the electricity going out, the light bulb burning out, the internet's gone, the StreamYard doesn't work, the platforms, you could just go, well, I bet she's pulling her hair out right now. And I'm glad mine's working. So, yay, thank you, Lord.
Right.
I'll just be patient. And I always have something else to do on the side. I'll just do that.
Yeah, and that's what Shelly and we were talking. And the funny part is I was on the phone with Shelly, and I could hear her on my phone and on the platform.
Right.
And exactly. So her audio part was working, and my camera part was working, but we couldn't see or hear.
Yeah, and that's something. I mean, we're going to test again.
Yeah,
Barbara, because I need to kind of get with that provider and see, okay, how does this work? If somebody comes in, that's kind of weird how if we're live, they can hear, after we didn't bring them up yet, they can hear them talking. It's kind of like me and you on the screen, Shelly down below. Hey, everybody, this is Shelly, but you can't see her, but you can hear her. That's going to be kind of, it's like, See, this is what happens when you go to new systems. You learn the kinks. So that's why I asked. I said, you know what? This kind of helped out because it's showing where some of the problems might be, or challenges. Let's just say that.
Right.
Yeah.
And be able to laugh about it. I mean, we are going to laugh about this because, we have to say something. This is live, So, and the thing is, though, where is the ripple of this going to go? Because other people are going to say, oh, gee, a great way. They handled it so well.
And the lessons learned from it, like you said.
Lessons learned from it.
Yeah.
Because we are not perfect. Nothing is perfect.
No, does not compute. What do you mean we're not perfect?
Anyways,
it is funny, especially when you have some things that you don't have no control over. I always tell people the stuff that you have control over, you could deal with that. The stuff that you don't, it's like, what do? You just, I couldn't go down to the wherever to get the electricity because it wasn't just me; it was the whole block.
It was the whole block, not just your. Oh wow!
Yeah, that's why I was like, because my neighbor, because she see me because she goes to work earlier. And she see me running out. She's like, "Oh, you don't have." She said, "We don't have electricity." But I said, "I know. That's why I'm running out. I have a show. I'm trying to get to my queens to let them know that And she's like, "Where are you gonna go?" I said, "I don't know. I'm going to a store somewhere. They got internet." She's like, "Well, the whole block is out. You got to go way down."
Oh, yikes!
And I was like, "Well, how far I gotta go?" She said, "I don't know." So I was like, but then the time that when we were talking, it came back on. I was like, thank you for this little talk. So now our electricity is back on. But it was just funny how she said, I don't know how far you're going to go. Just keep your phone on until it comes on. I was like, this is funny. I said, why does I feel like I'm back in the arcade days all of a sudden? See, that's the thing about being now, that's thankfulness now. I'm just thinking about that, being grateful for what we have, because as soon as it goes away, you don't realize how much you depend on it. I was like, wow, this is wild how we depend so much on this that we don't even, how do we react when it's not there?
Right. And can you imagine like hospitals and like the people that are on life, the people that are on oxygen and all that. And it just really gives you something to really say, what, thank you for modern technology.
Yeah.
That, here we are, Shelly's in Denver, I'm in Chicago, you're in Wisconsin. And yet here we are.
Yes. Yes. I'm so thankful that here we are. So now that we got through the pilot and the testing and everything, let's really welcome the right way, Miss Shelly. And so people understand who she is beside the queen. We need to hear more about this queen.
First of all, I love that you call me queen. Like, that's one thing. It's just, put that crown on. You know what? I think I'm just like everybody else. I was looking to see what you'd put on the YouTube blurb, and you talked about how I'd lost I had a mortgage company, and I lost everything when the mortgage meltdown happened, and I got to start over from not just nothing. Like, I had a pretty big pit that I dug for myself to crawl out of. And I think one thing that someone told me about me is like, I just love the way you keep failing forward. And I absolutely hate that the way I inspire people is to fail forward. Like, I would love to just have all my, just to say, your poo in a pile and not have to be the failing forward person. But it's served me well. And like Barbara said, we don't expect perfection from babies. We encourage them when they fall down, they're learning to walk, or when they put the wrong thing in their mouth, and we take, you know what, we don't want to be eating that, sweetie. Let's get you this. And so my story has been like that. I really have a passion to help people with financial literacy. You talked about some people get a side gig, some people get a hobby, some people get a side gig as a hobby, which, oh, by the way, can be very fulfilling. And so I like to help people create additional streams of income. I am particularly fond of recurring income, where you build it and it comes in over and over and over. So if you think of like a subscription, like Netflix, right? If you can be getting money over and over and over. And I love leveraged income, where you're paid on the efforts of other people. So it's not just dependent on you. So for today, we were so dependent on Barbara to have technology. But what if there was a way where if there would have been 99 other people to step up if she hadn't been able to get it, the power? Because again, you have no control over that. So I love recurring and leveraged income. I love helping people with that. And the mindset around that, the personal development and those kind of things. So those things drive me. I am fortunate and blessed with some time freedom, and I get to have my whole family living with me. So my house is very chaotic. I'm thrilled and delighted how quiet it is here right now, because we've got 3 generations living in this house, and that keeps you young, having the little ones underfoot all the time. And some of the funny things. And I'll just share this. And again, this is just, you talk about your life not being perfect. I was in Las Vegas for a conference, and I was around grown-ups for 4 days. And this morning, the first thing I overhear is, you didn't flush and you didn't wipe. Get back in here and take care of those things. Like, you hear different conversations when you've got little people in your home. And I'm like, I'm not in Las Vegas anymore. that's why I realized, like, that's all the glamour. And then, yeah.
It's funny. It's like, okay, I'm back at home. I'm back
at home.
kind of the Wizard of Oz. We're not in Kansas anymore. That sounds like my house. I mean, our youngest now is 3.
Oh,
and it's like, and it's like, okay. And once in a while I hear those conversations, and yet other times it's the littlest things that will just make a difference. Like yesterday I came home and it was like, oh, guess what I have for you? And her eyes lit up and she said, bubble wrap. I said, yeah, I have some bubble wrap, because all my shipments come with bubble wrap. Mm-hmm. And she, I mean, it was like I had given her keys to the Taj Mahal. Oh. Why can't we have that same childlike
quality?
Wow, around the things that are the things that are going on in our lives.
Yes.
And she was just, it was just the way she said, bubble wrap. And it was just, and she just come on upstairs and come and get your bubble wrap. And then she, and it was just, and it kept her busy while we were trying to make dinner and stuff. And it's like, yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But these are the things that keep you when we don't stop and enjoy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just the difference too. Like, I have when people send you Christmas cards, I have this really cool thing, and I just put them in there. And people don't send as many anymore, right? So I probably have 5 years worth of Christmas cards in this little box. Well, my grandkids are now taking the Christmas cards out that have memories attached to them, by the way. They're letters from people. And they're writing their own Christmas cards to us on top of the Christmas cards somebody else sent us. So it's just like, who uses for old things? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Wow.
And don't you find that people just throw stuff out? Oh, I'm not using this anymore, and they toss it out.
Well, yes.
I like to repurpose.
I like to repurpose, but I also, so my mom is a hoarder.
Oh, well, yeah, there's, yeah. Well,
And
there's,
so I
there's
grew
the
up
other
in
side.
that environment, and boy, there is something mentally freeing about getting rid of clutter, about donating. I like to donate if I can. I'll repurpose some things, but every now and then I'll find something I've held on to for years thinking, oh, I'm going to fix that, or I could use that for something else. And then I just have a conversation with myself. You're turning into your mom. And God bless her, I love my mom. I just don't want to live that way. And so for me, when I could throw something out, I see it as a victory. So it's just a little bit different. Like, I will throw things out.
Yeah. I was going to say, just to add real quickly what you said, Shelly, is, when my mother passed 12 years ago, I didn't realize how much stuff she had, items, whatever, how you want to put it, until I had to really clean out her apartment where she was staying at. Because she wanted to always be independent no matter how old she was getting. And if things going on, I still had to come every day. I still sent in somebody to make sure things were okay when I was working. But when I came that day after she passed, and it took me a few days to do that because I was like, oh, how do I go in this apartment and not, But I had to do it, only child. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was like, where did all this stuff come from? I mean, she had receipts from 1985. I said, she doesn't have it no more. It's gone. It's obsolete. I mean, whatever it was that she had. But she was keeping these little receipts, and it's just everything. And then I was like, oh my God, I might find, then I started digging more. I said, well, I never know. You might find something else, Barbara, that's worth something too. But see, then I was thinking about it. I said, okay, Barbara, don't say that. I had to stop myself when I said it was worth something, because she thought by keeping all that, and she was a hoarder. I mean, that was it. I mean, that's the label for it, like you said, Shelly. But she thought those things she was keeping, and I feel like it was giving her comfort because it was bringing her and thinking about things that happened in the past that maybe she was happy at that time. So I think that's why she was keeping those every little thing, because it was giving her comfort in her own world, because it was something that maybe at that time she was happy about. She was younger at that time. She was doing things. She had her own business. I mean, I was thinking about all that. So I said, okay, shame on me, because there's probably a method to, why she kept all that. But I would just say for myself, but then I said it for myself, I said, you know what? I'm going home, memories or not. I wouldn't want to pass away, have somebody come in my house. And that's what I thought about. And they had to go through all of that stuff that could have either went to Goodwill or just, like you said, thrown out, because some things are just not, useless anymore. So, yeah.
And it's always like, because when David passed away, and same thing, I had to go through everything, and I literally found a box of pens. I said, oh, perfect. A box of pens. This is perfect. I'm going to keep them. And then I opened it. It was just the casing. There was no ink thing. No ink cartridges is in the whole box, and no ink cartridges. And I thought, why did he keep this box of pens that had no ink cartridges in them? No clue.
Wow.
And it was such a funny moment for me that how did his mind work that he saved the box of pens, but they had no ink cartridges. And it was just, and I found several things. I found a couple of things like that. And it was like, all right. Yeah. And it was just a really I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder what prompted it. And I mean, y'all never know this side of heaven, but it was just a funny thing. But at the moment it made me laugh. I said, oh yeah, that's probably David. Yeah. He just, he felt he was going to find a use for them some way, or somebody was going to donate a box of cartridges for him.
Like you said, you never know. I wanted to share real quickly, because I was on think I was on TikTok or some other day. I always stay on different platforms because I help people with their social media. So I have to keep it, keep myself going with it, understanding what's going on. So this one TikTok came up. A lady was talking about do you know the names of the generations? And I was like, ooh. I said, because I really don't. I always get lost after a certain year, right? So she gave all the generations up till now. So I wanted just to share this because I thought it was kind of interesting. She went back to 1901 to 1927. And they said that was called the Great Generation.
Oh.
And then she said from 1928 to 1945, they said that was the silent generation.
The silent generation?
Silent generation. That's what she said. And she said 1926 to 1964, the boomers.
Baby boomers. That's me. I'm a baby
and
boomer.
Then the 1965 to 1980, Gen X. 1981 to 1996, the millenniums. 1997 to 2012, Gen Z. And then 2013 to 2025, Gen Alpha.
Oh, I haven't heard that before. See, you learn something new every day. Generation
I know.
Alpha.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, this really, I know it's a one little, TikTok, but it came in handy because I never really understood. I mean, I know what generation I'm in. Like you said, the baby boomers.
I'm a baby boomer.
I missed that by a few years. I'm the Gen X. I'm in the Gen X thing. And then then I knew the millennials. I knew that part of it, but I didn't even know the years. See, I didn't know. I just knew there was different generations, but I didn't know the years that it was for years.
And so how did they come up with the years?
I never understood how they came up with the whole generation name. We all just know that there's different levels in the different generations.
And the silent generation, I'll have to research that. I'll let you know.
1928 to 1945. Yeah, check that out.
I'll have to. Yes.
I will give you one little thing, Barbara, when you said it was just a TikTok and a reframe is what you saw was a micro documentary.
Oh,
wow. I like that.
You are no longer wasting time on TikTok. You are watching micro documentaries.
I like that.
I like that.
Micro documentary. Look at that.
You get to, now you have guilt-free TikTok time.
Yeah. Plus, I always go back to what I do anyway. So this is what.
Right. This was research.
Yeah. Yeah. I was. Sometimes, like you said, there's a lot of good things on TikTok. But I was like, when I seen that, I said, "Ooh, I don't really know my." So this has been good, like a quiz for somebody. Like, okay, do you know all the generations from 1901 to 2025? Like, no. Yeah. Oh, now I know.
I didn't know two of them, and I didn't know the years. I never.
Did you know the current one is Gen Alpha?
I didn't know that. No, that's the first time I've heard that term.
Yeah. Sometimes I always ask myself, I'm like you, Barbara and Shelly, who, somebody's sitting back in a corner drinking a cup of tea or whatever they're doing and just making this stuff up, and then we all kind of that just comes in and it's like, okay, that's the rule. But sometimes I think about it, like, who created this? Sometimes I ask myself those questions and I have to go to Wikipedia or whatever to find out. But it's interesting how
it piques your interest.
And I feel like we should ask those kind of questions because sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, where you just go for what somebody told you or what they said, and you're like, okay, well, that's how it is. And then when you hear the backstory of it or whatever, oh, that's what it was. Oh, and then you think to yourself like, oh, that could have changed, or we could have did something different. Because we were going back from somebody that did something in 1982 or something, where now it's a new era.
Right.
And we have other technologies and stuff. I'm just look at that as an example that you could change what it was. We had to keep doing the same thing 20, 30, 40 years. We could change up something. Right. So I think that's good to ask those questions because you never know where you can tweak or change or even do something different.
Right. And how else can we do this?
Yeah.
How else could we do that? And I think that's one of the things that and so often it's like Shelly with the word reframe. When I did those things on where old sayings come from, Like as a kid, my father used to always tell us that we had to toe the line. And one day I said, okay, I'm going to find out where does that expression come from? And it's an old British Navy term that when the sailors were they mustered them, they all had to stand along with their bare toes against the plank, the line of the plank of the ship. Who knew? And yet it's a term that I grew up with and knew what it meant. Toe the line. You know, it meant to shape up and stand in line and be counted and all that kind of stuff. And yet, where did it come from?
It's funny when you said shape up, and I heard another thing I used to hear when I was growing up. You better shape up or ship out.
Shape up or ship out.
Where am I shipping out to? I'm only 6. I used to think about that in my head. Now, I didn't say it out loud because I knew better. But I was like, where am I shipping out to? Where would it go? Where you taking me? So you're right, Barbara. Those old sayings.
Some of the old sayings.
Well, remember the baby with the bathwater? Remember that one you said? I was like, oh,
throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
I do know where that one came from.
Oh, no.
So yeah, because stuff like that. My mind is full of all kinds of useless trivia. So back in the days where they didn't have the running water and they had to heat up the water, they would fill up the bathtub, and the dad would take the first bath, then the mom would take the next bath, and the oldest, and they're not dumping out the bath water. So by the time you get down to the youngest in the house, it's gross. Like it's,
I know.
Sludge water, right?
Like
And
mud.
then you're throwing out and you don't want to throw out the baby with the sludgy bath water. I mean, you could lose a human being depending on how many people are in the family. You can just imagine how, but everybody used the same bath water. So that's where that came out. That's where that one came from. It's like that one has legitimate roots to.
Yeah.
See,
and again, thank you, technology. Thank you for running water. Thank you for.
Yes, that's what I was.
Thank you for indoor plumbing.
Dishwater. Thank you for water filters. Like it's. Yeah. We're
just
so
thinking about that.
to live in the time we live in.
Yeah, because when you think about it, it's like okay, after like you said, how many people? It's like, oh, well, I'm really not getting clean here. This is not right. This is defeating the purpose. It's like, okay.
Yeah, well, why did they do it? That's what it's like. I mean, the water was so dirty. Why did they do it? But anyways, but a fun conversation of how we can have great gratitude for the things that we have now.
Yeah, definitely. So Shelly, we see all this wonderful time that we're spending in all the technology. I know the time is running out now. So Shelly, I was going to ask, was there any the items that you wanted to say before we close out? And we're going to have you back when technology is working right. So
I signed up to be on the panel for time management. Thursday. So in my head, I came prepared to talk about time management and productivity, just because I'm a ninja in that arena. And Barbara
is. You should see her spreadsheets.
Which, what I do is not practical for everybody, but I do know a lot of practical tips. And so the original thing was to talk about time management and productivity in my head, but then I'm thinking, well, I don't want to talk about the same thing twice in the same week. So I don't have a message per se, unless you want to go there in case you have a different audience. Just some things that, like, I can throw out some little tidbits to help people.
Yeah, you throw out one or two, before we close. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, just to bring some value. Yeah. And here's something that I think is still. So, how many seconds is it in a day? It's like six or minutes, 16,000, whatever, 680. You can Google that and figure it out, right? If you think of that as money, because you've heard time is money, and so you think about it. So, say I'm just going to use 16,000 just to keep it simple. You have $16,000 in a day. And the first thing in your day is the power goes out, the lights burn out, the blah, 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 blah. And you've just basically lost 60 to 90 minutes or 60 to 90 dollars. Do you dwell on that so much that you just throw away the other 16 grand? The other $15,100, right? Don't get hung up on the negative. If you treat the time like money, like it's actual dollars. Okay, I had 10 bad minutes. Well, I'm out $10. But I still have 15,990 good dollars left that I can spend any way I want. Right. And I can make that time count. I can make a difference in the world. I can add value. I can have fun. I can be happy. Like, we can spend it for something that really matters. We can invest in people. It's so, I just like the analogy of thinking of time as money. When something goes wrong, think of it as don't throw away the whole bank account for that day. Just because something didn't go the way you wanted, or someone didn't react the way you wanted, or whatever it is. Just let go of that. Well, okay, that part's gone, but I have so much left. Where can I just get all the juice out of that? And where can I add value and invest it and multiply that for the greater good? So that's one thing. I don't know how much time I have. So
we got like 2 more minutes, but I just wanted to expound real quickly. That I love that you brought that out, because I just we always have those episodes in life where something, like you said, go wrong, or somebody pisses you off or whatever. And I always tell people, you have control over that. Right. People be upset at me when I say that, but we do. We can, did we spend that to, like you said, an hour being pissed off at Barbara? I'm just going to use Barbara to say, I wasn't pissed off at you. And for a whole hour. So now, like you said, that's what, $20, $30, $50, if you want to put it in money, that I just wasted, that just spent out, right? So now, and you can't get it back. I keep telling you, can't get it back. So now that's gone. Goodbye, right? So then you think to yourself, okay, am I going to do that again next time? Should I? Okay, was that productivity right there? Was that good money saved? No, it wasn't. So I've learned not to hold things. I used to hold things a long time ago, like weeks and weeks with people when they used to say something to me that was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, am I like that? Oh, 2 weeks. It's like now, it's like maybe more, maybe an hour, maybe an hour now. But I came a long way from 2 or 3 weeks. But now that you put the money to it, when you put it in that scenario, I don't want to do that. No, hours don't have to go.
You're going to go down to minutes now. And then eventually, like when you're a master, you can let go of it in seconds. And I'm not a master yet, but I will hold on to things more likely for minutes than days.
Me too.
What I used to do.
Yeah. Then don't you hear when people say, I've been mad at somebody for years, like 10, 15 years. I've been pissed off at that person. I'm like, really? I think to myself, what was you mad about? I don't know, but I'm still upset at them.
It's like they have no idea what caused the Hatfields and the McCoys. And yet the Hatfield and McCoy feud is still going on. And they have no idea what caused it. Oh, for heaven's sakes, grow up.
I can see you saying that to them too. Grow up.
Grow up.
Well, Shelly, you have been a gem today, Queen. I am so happy. And we got to bring you back. We'll have to bring you back.
I'd love to come back. Thank you. Yes.
So, but we'll definitely see you on Thursday. So, but Barbara, you're not coming on Thursday for the Diamond.
I cannot. I have a meeting.
Okay.
First panel that I've missed.
I know she goes to all of them, Shelly. I mean, and that's why when she said she's not, I'm like, oh no, Barbara, wait a minute, that's my sidekick. But I understand things happen.
But it's good. I'm training to be a trainer. That is going to be just down the way that I'm going to be doing. So I'm just really excited about it. But it was like, unless I can come on late,
Yeah, I mean, if you still, we're going to be on for probably an hour. So yeah.
Yeah, because my training is only a half hour, and I said, "Ooh." So I'm glad you brought it up because if I can come on, because I think it's only a half hour.
Okay. Well, we'll have Shelly there. She's going to be giving us some more tips about time management because we always need tips about time management. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't care what you do. You need tips on that. So Shelly, Queen Shelly, we're so happy that you're on today. And everybody, you know what? Lessons come in all different fashions and shapes. As you've seen, if you've seen our show earlier today, you need to rewind and just see what lessons that were learned through all of us today. And hopefully that helps you moving forward in any kind of things that you're dealing with or challenges that you deal with life, and just learn how to handle it. And I always say this, no matter what, I always say, do the Usha moment, just stay calm and just work it out and think about the things that you can control compared to the ones that you can't. And then you'll be better. So with that, we will see everybody next Tuesday.
Have a good one, everybody.